Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of The Average Cast. My name is Eamon, and I'm joined by Gavin and Jake.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
And we have a very packed episode planned today. We have a movie discussion. We'll be talking about 2015 Robert Eggers' The Witch. We'll be having a debate and some random topics to talk about later. But first, I want to ask you guys a little bit of trivia.
Oh, yeah.
What was the very first movie with sound? I'm going to give you three choices.
All right.
Number 1, The Singing Fool. Number 2, Wonder Bar. Or number 3, The Jazz Singer.
First movie with sound?
Yes, the first movie with sound.
All right, I'm going to go with The Jazz Singer.
Okay, Gavin, what about you?
I'm going to go with the second option.
So, Wonder Bar?
Yes, Wonder Bar.
Okay, Jake, you got it right. Gavin?
Yes.
Thanks for me.
All right.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, kind
The
of
Jazz Singer.
sucks for you. Yeah,
I'll get it next time.
It was released in 1927. It was made with Vitaphone, which was at the time the leading brand of sound-on-disc technology.
My thought process was, if it has singing in it, it's probably already ahead of its time for already having sound. So
It wouldn't have been the first.
I just did a wild guess.
The Singing Fool for 1928. That was also...
Yeah.
So that had sound probably, because it came out after.
Exactly.
So
That's some good logic, Gavin.
Yeah, I just kind of thought opposite.
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah.
good thinking. All right.
Good question.
All right, so now we'll be moving on to our debate subject. And we came up with the idea to talk about the best cinematic battle in Star Wars, or fight, or finale. Does anyone want to go first?
Are we going specifically lightsaber fight?
I mean, if you want, we could do that.
Or are we going any fight that happens to have lightsabers?
We could do that. That's fine.
All right.
Go ahead, Jake. Start us off.
Oh, okay. I'd love to. So, to me, the best fight in the cinematic Star Wars movies would have to be in The Empire Strikes Back, the lightsaber duel between Luke and Darth Vader.
Okay.
Because it's not just a lightsaber fight. It's the climax of the movie.
Yep.
And it gives us one of the biggest twists and reveals in movie history, with Luke finding out that Darth Vader is his father.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is it a really well choreographed lightsaber duel, because you get to see Luke after he's trained with Yoda, you get to see him going all out against Vader, and you just get to see how cool Vader is when he fights someone like Luke, who's a little more with it than Obi-Wan was in A New Hope. So on top of being an awesome fight in general, you just have the weight of figuring out that Vader is Luke's father. So that's why I think that tops it off. That's got to be the best in the saga.
That's very.
I really thought about that. That's some good points.
Yeah, that's very
some good
reasonable.
points. Yeah,
Thank you.
that one point where he says, "Luke, I am your father," is it's unprecedented. It's one of the best scenes in movies. So
yeah, that's why it tops it for me.
I respect that decision. Never really thought about that.
Yeah. Oh, why don't you go ahead? We'd love to hear what you have to say.
I'm still gonna have to go with Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul. That whole movie was not good. CGI, not good. Everyone hated Jar Jar Binks. Terrible movie before that. But as soon as they start fighting, and the background of that, when they're fighting that big thing, and Darth Maul kicks them, and the laser doors, that is just like something you've never seen in Star Wars before. And I've seen YouTube videos and reactions of people that came out of that theater, and they were like, oh my gosh, what did I just see? Like, that is the best lightsaber fight in history when they came out of the theater. But and the acting in that movie, not very great, but Obi-Wan, when Qui-Gon dies, is just like that was good acting. And I think, I felt that. And I think both Ewan McGregor and what's his name?
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. I think they both had great acting in that. But the whole midichlorian crap and Jar Jar for that movie, not the best. But that lightsaber fight is just different. It hits different. It's choreographed, fantastic.
Gavin,
you think it makes up for the rest of the movie?
I think it does. Yeah.
Gavin, the difference between like the discussion that like the points that Jake had and the points that you had is that Jake talks to more on like a film level, and then you're just like, it's so great how like Darth Maul kicks him and he falls over the side, and then the lasers come up, and then.
But I mean, just
and then Ewan McGregor just screams, "No, that's great acting."
I mean, it is. It's good acting.
I mean, he said one thing though. He just said no. People got mad at Darth Vader when he said that.
I would watch that whole crappy movie just to see that fight.
Well, you don't have to watch.
That's a good point.
You don't have to watch the whole crappy movie. You can watch the fight on YouTube
to see that.
I guess so. All right.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that.
I mean, obviously, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin versus Obi-Wan has to be like tied with that. But I'll leave you to make some statements, Eamon.
Okay, well, my favorite battle in all of Star Wars is Return of the Jedi, Luke versus Darth Vader. Because, I mean, Episode 6 isn't the best. I don't think it's, like, amazing. There's a lot of problems with it. But that final battle really kind of cements that movie as like the closure of the saga or franchise for like what people knew back then, because the weight carried between Luke and Vader is still there from Empire when they had their battle on Cloud City. And so it still carries over here when they battle in front of the Emperor. The music is this opera violin piece. It's very nice and grand, and it sounds really good. And
Darth Vader redeems himself, which is a great part.
Darth Vader redeems himself.
As well.
I think the movement of the camera, how it goes from under the Emperor's like platform, like into the darkness where you just see the two lightsabers clashing against each other. And it really feels like very raw and very like true, very powerful. And that was always one of my favorite parts of Star Wars. So
yeah. Well, I would have to agree with you that maybe a reason that fight holds more weight than the Empire fight is because like you said, Vader and Luke meet up again, and there's still that
tension
in from Empire. But then there's also Vader's redemption in the end when he saves Luke from the Emperor. So it definitely comes full circle, where you get that hatred, or not really hatred, but that
anger.
Tension and that anger between Luke and his father. And then the ending when you see love come through, and you really see Anakin save his son, and that's so great.
Yeah.
That movie also really shows its growth, which is kind of a good and a bad thing for me, because when you see where Luke comes from in the first movie, it was pretty much Obi-Wan and just Darth Vader that were having the lightsaber fight. But, and Luke gets his own lightsaber, and Empire Strikes Back, he's just basically just kind of this kid. But when he comes to the Return of the Jedi, he's such a good Jedi, and that's something that kind of is unsettling almost, because how did he get all that training and stuff from just those 2 years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm trying to say?
Well, it just shows how powerful he is.
And he's way more wise. Like, he goes from, let me go get some power converters, to literally goes to Darth Vader's front doorstep and hands him his lightsaber.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a gap between when he gets his hand cut off and when he fights Darth Vader for the last time.
Yeah, I don't know what is the gap on that.
Oh, look.
Because, Gavin, you're right, because
let's see.
I was gonna say, Gavin, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke does the same thing. He sees that Han and Leia are in danger, so he goes from his training on Dagobah with Yoda to save his friends, even though he might not have completed this training. But then in Return of the Jedi, he just seems so wise, and
exactly.
he seems like he's a true Jedi, which is definitely cool to see.
It seems like it was 1 year. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah. I could definitely see where the Empire battle is, very impactful. Especially around then, and it kind of cemented itself.
Well, yeah, just what's so great is the twist.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest movie moments, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's why it was my favorite. But no, I completely see.
And I do think
the Return of the Jedi fight is great.
I do think the Phantom Menace battle is, I think, the best part of that movie.
Gavin, you didn't even mention Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That, oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on that. That is a masterpiece.
Yeah. Duel of the Fates is
wow.
Good.
God.
That was definitely a highlight of that battle.
Yeah. It was.
Well, I think
probably the best part.
Just something about the prequels, just growing up on that, just hold a different weight.
You did not grow up on the prequels.
Yeah, I did.
The last one came out when you were 2.
Yeah, exactly. So when I got old enough, I saw the ones that were recently came out.
Why would you see those ones before seeing the my parents showed me the old ones first.
Because they're prequels. That's the whole point. They come before the originals.
I saw 4, 5, 6, and then 1.
Well, that's good for
3.
you. That's good for you.
I don't think I guess my parents just wanted to start me off right and not have me hate the movies. Because if they showed me episode 1, I would have. Even back then, I saw.
You can't tell me seeing as a little kid you hated the prequels.
Dude, for the first time,
there's no
I was when I was 5, I watched episode 1 for the first time. I'm not gonna kid you. I was so bored.
There's no way.
It was so. It was. I was so bored. Because the plot
is boring.
The plot was so boring. Yeah, even as a kid, nothing could keep me entertained. I don't even remember watching the final battle.
Is pretty boring, but the final battle is great. And for the first half of Attack of the Clones, that is really boring. But the second half is better as
It's
well.
all pretty
but
bad.
like seeing
It's
that,
all pretty bad.
seeing that as a little kid though, there's lightsaber fights and all the clones. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but the
can't get
lightsaber
anything
fight
better
for
than that.
Phantom Menace is like 7 minutes, and it takes up it's at the very end of the movie. The rest of it is just a slog of
Trade negotiations.
economic speeches and stuff.
Hey, it shows the different side of Star Wars, and it was all planned out before.
It was
one thing.
It was planned out, but that doesn't mean it's good. No one came to see a fantasy space opera to watch these CGI aliens talk about politics. No one wanted to watch that.
It shows the different side of Star Wars. That's all I'm saying.
Just because it shows a different side of something doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Maybe not in your opinion, but I think you still respect other people's opinions because there's a lot of people that will take the prequels before the originals. Anyway.
I don't think there's anyone. I don't think there's anyone who would do that. I think there's people who would take the prequels over the sequels, but I don't think there would be people who would take.
Almost like a lot of people would take the prequels over the sequels.
I would
definitely
not.
Would.
I would
I
not.
Definitely would. Just because,
we're getting into a whole nother debate here.
That is another debate.
Because Last Jedi and Force Awakens are pretty good.
Yeah, Last Jedi and Force Awakens still hold
Force
up.
Awakens.
It's honestly it is the opposite.
The only good scene is the throne room. That's the only good thing.
That's not the only good scene.
Yes, that's the only good scene.
There are a lot of other good scenes.
How Disney brought in a new species so they could just sell plushies and on the island.
Okay,
how he drinks purple milk or blue milk.
Yeah, let's talk about the Ewoks. Let's talk about the battle droids. I mean, those are technically sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really think
action figures and stuff like that.
Action figures.
But action figures, yeah. Like clones. And
you can't tell me that clones weren't made to sell toys. They were everything in Star Wars is made to sell toys.
I'm just saying, I think
Star Wars was the first Star Wars was the first real blockbuster. It was the first movie to sell a lot of merchandise.
Half of the movie in The Last Jedi is Force FaceTime, dude. Come on, that is terrible. That is terrible.
70% of Attack of the Clones is Padme and Anakin gallivanting around on this.
I'd say it's like 50%, but yeah.
You cannot tell me that's more interesting.
Because
at least with the Force conversations, you can at least learn stuff about the characters.
Right, it introduces something new to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Just like the Phantom Menace.
Sometimes when they add new things, it's like not the trade negotiation for franchises. I'm not saying I enjoy the trade negotiations and politics. I'm just saying it's a different part of Star Wars.
The prequels and the sequels are like opposites of each other. The prequels had two. They had two shit movies and one good movie. The sequels had two pretty good movies. Even though I don't think Force Awakens. I haven't seen Force Awakens in a while. They have two good movies and one really bad movie.
I can't.
And I think
at least with Phantom Menace, you could say the final fight. With Rise of Skywalker,
there's anything. Rise of Skywalker. There's barely anything redeemable.
In The Last Jedi, I'm sorry, there is like a couple good scenes, but it's not that good, dude.
If you want to see a new Star Wars, just watch The Last Jedi.
Yeah, because it's different.
Yeah,
and that's what the Phantom Menace is, right?
You could say that with the same thing as the prequels. Yeah.
We know. I mean, I was just kind of relating to your point.
So people can't rat on The Last Jedi for being different and then go and praise the Phantom Menace. That's very hypocritical. I'm not saying that you are. But there are definitely people who do that.
I'm not saying that's like the same thing. Some people could just like the Phantom Menace and not like The Last Jedi just for certain reasons.
Yeah.
I
guess so.
Jedi, there's so many things I could say about it that
I'm guessing if you were like 6 or 7 and you went to and one of your first movies that you ever saw was The Phantom Menace in theaters, I mean that could probably hold some weight.
Exactly.
Right.
But
like you said,
but that's only nostalgia. That's only nostalgia. That's going to be,
But I rewatched Star Wars movies and I understand Jar Jar, all midichlorians, all that stuff. Phantom Menace stinks, and Hayden Christensen's bad acting in Attack of the Clones, it stinks. But that doesn't help with the fact that now that I've seen more movies, I recognize more things. So when I see the new Star Wars movies, the sequels, and I see The Last Jedi, and I see all the whole arc with Rose and Finn, which contributes nothing at all to the plot.
We're not saying that was good.
That is the worst part about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Force FaceTime.
What's so bad about that?
I don't like it.
I don't
like it at all.
It's perfect for establishing these characters and building their arcs.
I think they just use that just so they could show more acting from the two.
That makes no sense.
That doesn't.
I think it makes sense.
Dude, a movie is supposed to. Any movie is supposed to showcase acting.
I know, but I feel like that is just they're just putting it out there, especially with Rey. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what I think they were doing.
It's good because it gives you this look at the hero that you're supposed to be rooting for is kind of torn like someone we already know from Star Wars in the past, and as she learns more about this person who she's contacting, it kind of twists her reality about what she knows.
And also, Leia, the whole using whatever she did to go back to the ship.
Okay, two dumb things. Okay?
That's a lot.
Two dumb things.
Well, I think what's great about The Last Jedi,
I do like Luke in The Last Jedi. I like how they show him.
Thank you.
Luke's arc.
Luke is great.
I will appreciate.
Really great.
That's something I will appreciate.
Everyone always rats on Luke for throwing away the lightsaber and being like, "Oh, they're trying to make it a comedic scene." But no, it's because he's scared of what happened. He throws it away. He doesn't want to deal with it. And then in The Rise of Skywalker, that's the only serviceable part where because people were talking about that that's justice for the Last Jedi because Abrams hated The Last Jedi and he had to change it like that. No, that's Luke's arc completing because that's right. Because that's how he acts now after he learns what he learns in The Last Jedi. Right. This is no way to treat a weapon.
I have mixed feelings towards when Luke shows up in front of Kylo. I've kind of mixed feelings about that. I don't know how I feel. I'm not a huge fan of it.
I love that.
But I'm not complaining about it either. I just don't know really how I feel about that scene.
When the AT-ATs fired down on him, and then after he just flicks his shoulder off, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I felt like that was trying to kind of be comedic.
People are talking about Luke wanting him to be a badass. That's what that is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying I just have mixed feelings. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. So.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys want to talk about the movie?
Not a discussion.
Let's
transition.
Guys want to talk about
The Witch? The Witch.
All right. So Robert Eggers' 2015 movie, The Witch. What'd you guys think? Overall, what'd you guys think?
I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought the acting, oh my gosh, the girl,
Anya Taylor-Joy.
She was amazing in that movie, I must say. She's a really good actor. Or actress, I mean.
Did you say Sansa Stark?
It's Sansa Stark's aunt in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Lysa Arryn, right?
Lysa Arryn, yes.
Oh, you're saying she was good?
She was really good in that movie, yes.
She was pretty good.
She was great.
And I thought the dad, once he took his shirt off, though, I was like, he looks kind of young. I was like,
okay.
I was like, the wife looks so much older because when he took his shirt off, he looked like he was 10 years younger.
But he's just skinny.
I rated it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So
I rated it 8 out of 10 on IMDb.
So it's the same thing.
It corresponds.
Yeah. I would say 8.5 out of 10, but yeah.
So I wrote a review. I said I expected a little more being his directorial debut and knowing that he would come back with the lighthouse, I'm not too annoyed. I thought it was really beautiful looking, being constructed with only natural light and like lamps and stuff. They didn't use any like artificial lighting. The film looks very nice. All the camera shots and cinematography is very like open-ended.
Yeah, it looks great.
His attention to detail is like truly amazing, especially like the architecture of the housing and stuff.
That's great.
And people have said that's like extremely accurate to the time period.
Definitely, yeah.
The witch hut is something that I'd imagine from like one of those darker fairy tale books. I really like the look of that. I think the acting was really great, especially Harvey Scrimshaw, who plays Caleb, and his whole monologue in the final act, I think, is great. Where he's like, "Oh, sweet Lord Jesus," and he was
really good.
Spoilers, by the way. We'll be talking spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yes. I must say the twins. I don't know what was about them, but they just annoyed me during that movie.
I think that was the point.
Yeah.
They were supposed to annoy you.
But then you see them in the end where they're in the barn. You kind of feel sympathetic for them because they're just cuddling up next to each other, and then you're like, oh.
Right.
Oh my god, the lighting in that movie was like, it was spot on.
Some parts looked like it was. Am I the only one who thought it was like kind of filmed in someone's backyard at some points? It just kind of looked. It just kind of looked like Eggers walked up to someone's house and was like, "Yo, can we film here? Like, can we go in your backyard and build a giant hut and film?"
I kind of want to know the budget for that film because it
can't
be much.
It was $5 million, I think.
Wow, that's not a lot at all.
Not a lot.
That's how much The Room costed to make.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see The Witcher. Stop.
The only thing I would have complaints about that movie, like actual complaints, not the twins. Like that's not like an actual complaint, but I'd say with the whole devil thing, I felt like they didn't know where they were going with it at first because they showed this girl, and I get it because they were trying to like trick Caleb to thinking she's like a pretty woman because you can kind of see his thoughts towards his sister, if you know what I mean.
His lust. Yeah.
He looks at her stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then they show the witch, and then they show the ram. I don't know. It's just kind of like, I wish you would just show the ram, not show the witch in that scene where she was all like, typical fairy tale style witch.
Yeah. Well, it's based on a folk tale, right?
Yeah.
The Witch 2.
Or many folk tales. But I mean, I feel like it is kind of interesting that Black Phillip was the devil the whole time.
Dude, I love Black Phillip.
I know. I love Black Phillip. The delicious. Do you want to live deliciously?
Do you want to live deliciously?
That was very unsettling.
I thought the script was, like, for that time period, was, like, spot on.
What was it? Do you want the taste of butter? Or something like
about
that.
Butter.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then he was like, "Do you want the taste of deliciousness?"
Yeah, that was... Well, and you got to see, like, him in human form in the background.
Yeah, that was cool. How you could barely see him. I like that part.
Yeah. Like, very subtle. Like, that's why I felt like Eggers did a great job.
I thought... Okay, so I said, my only real problem... Actually, I liked... Yeah, my only real problem was that, unlike the lighthouse, I felt like the witch couldn't decide what it wanted to be. And it seemed, like, if you look at it from a distance, it seems like a simple folktale about a witch who terrorizes and destroys a family during the 1600s. But there's supposedly this deeper meaning, which we don't really get hit with until the last 10 minutes, and some subtle imagery, like, earlier in the movie. It felt kind of rushed to me, and I don't think the payoff was as good, and it didn't have, like, a huge sense of grandeur like his following film does, like towards the end, because I think the the final shot of the lighthouse is very impactful with the seagulls.
Yeah.
The signs are there, but so much is thrown at you towards the end that it makes the meaning or hidden conclusion not as impressive. Especially towards the end where, like, she stumbles upon the cult. That's kind of when I got really disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm like this whole mystery of, like, this witch and, like, what's going on here just leads up to, like, this witch cult, and she's supposedly one of them now.
Right. Well,
I would have been fine with. I would have been fine with if they just ended it on the note where he says, like, ask her all the questions when she's in the barn, and then they just ended it when she said yes. Like, I think that would be a better ending, because when they showed the Colton thing, it was, like, totally different mood than it was before.
I would have liked it. I would have liked to
see her join him, or join Satan and the witches, which I thought, I don't have any problem with that. Like, there was no issue.
I know, but it seemed way too rushed. That's all.
Yeah.
You mean, it was a short movie.
I wish they're just like, it's like, so she kills her mom, and then, like, I thought the movie was gonna end, so she walks in, puts on the thing, puts her head down, and then that's where it ends.
I thought it was gonna end there.
I thought that would have been fine. I would have been fine with that. Because, I mean, you could have let the rest up to interpretation, really.
Right, because the movie at its roots is basically, it's a lot like Hereditary, how, like, it's about a family breaking down, and they...
I thought a lot of Hereditary.
Yeah.
I was getting Toni Collette vibes from whatever her name was.
From the mom?
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Yeah. But... yeah, you got to. I feel like at its roots, it was you get to see this family fundamentally break down, and well, I thought it was cool because you get to see the witch kind of take over, but then at the real root is Black Phillip and it's Satan.
Yeah,
which I thought was cool.
What I was kind of mad with at the end, how they showed all the witches, I guess. Is that how they show the witch when Caleb goes in, with the little hut, and then they show the witch in the hut where the goats are laying, right?
Yeah.
She was just projecting a younger version of herself.
No, I think it was.
But then they show all the girls at the end, and then I was, like, kind of conflicted because I was like, it could have been two of the big circle of those witches that were there. That's why I wish they didn't add that in.
I wish it didn't turn out to be this cult of witches. I thought it should have just ended with her, because you already get established that, like, even though it's such a far-fetched idea that she just, like whips up right there that Black Phillip is, the embodiment spirit of the devil, and how that actually turns out to be true. I don't think it should have ended with her because there's this great scene where it shows her from a long distance walking into the forest. The forest is pitch black, and once she hits a point, you can't see her anymore. That would have been the best time to end it. I
don't really think it matters. Like, I don't know, Gavin. I don't really know what you're saying with it could have been two witches.
Because at the end they show all the girls around the witches around the fire, which is like conflicting.
Why does that matter at all?
Because I guess he's trying to say that it doesn't hold as much weight that there's just this one witch. It could have been just multiple ones.
Because I would get it if they didn't show the end, right?
What do you not get, though?
So what does she do? What does Thomason do now? Does she just roam with the other witches? Is there going to be...
She joined the devil.
I know, but she becomes a witch now, though.
Yeah?
So what does she do afterwards?
Why does it matter?
I mean, I guess it doesn't, but, like...
It doesn't.
I just don't know. It should have just ended with her joining the devil and walking into the forest. And then you can leave the rest up for interpretation.
That's what I think.
Okay, I get that, but why do you care about seeing a bunch of witches? Like, that doesn't matter at all.
because the whole film is based around the fact that there's this one witch in the forest.
So you think it should have been called The Witches?
No, we just don't think that scene should have been there at all.
Okay, I don't really know why.
That scene was totally unnecessary.
Because it's called The Witch. It's about this one witch in the forest who terrorizes this family, and then seeing the multiple, like, I was just kind of conflicted when I saw, like, the 4 or 5 witches there. Like, there's multiple of them. What are their purposes? What do they do? Where have they been? Why are they just here all of a sudden?
Okay.
Because it should have been about this one witch. It shouldn't have been leading up to this cult of witches that she joins, and now she is terrorizing people.
Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like that's a weightless complaint, but whatever.
But an ending to a movie matters, does it not?
It does, but that movie, I mean, the ending of The Witch, it doesn't, like, if you took that scene out with the cult of witches, it wouldn't really make a difference. But just think about it. If you're not really, like, paying attention to the movie, you could just be like, oh yeah, that's one witch right there, because it changes in the form of lust to Caleb, right? But when they go to the campfire and you see all the people there, that's like such a conflicting scene.
Probably the reason why I have a problem with the story could possibly be due to the runtime. The lighthouse is a bit longer. I think that gives it more of an opportunity.
So you wish things were more fleshed out?
Yeah, because with the lighthouse, things are way more fleshed out. You get hints of these Greek mythical gods and, like, Triton, smite the unholy, and, like, this duality of power and how power shifts, and the light from the lighthouse is representative of that power. And once God, what is his name? I always forget.
Winslow?
Yeah, Winslow. When Winslow finally obtains that power, he is suddenly dethroned, falls all the way back down the lighthouse, and then suffers his death by being pecked out by gulls.
Yes. Well, that's the lighthouse. That's not the witch.
I know it's not the witch, but I feel like if he went a little bit longer and fleshed things out a bit more, I would have loved it as equally.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I understand.
I love everything else I think is great. I just think the story needs some tweaks, but there's no problem with that. I mean,
yeah.
It was his very first
I know,
it was his debut.
It's an amazing first feature. Like, that's amazing that he
did that. It's a great thing that he did there.
And he wrote it too. Like,
yeah.
He's and his next movie is going to be really, really good.
For Nosferatu?
No. It's a Viking movie with Anya Taylor-Joy and Willem Dafoe.
Was he doing a Nosferatu as well?
He is. That's in development, but his Viking movie is in pre-production, I think.
Okay.
So it's, like, actually going to be his next thing.
Okay, well, I like that. Is it like is there, like, going to be, like, a mythological beast or something?
No, it's a Viking, I don't know.
It's just like a Viking tale?
Yeah, like a revenge tale or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be...
you could tell he has a good attention to detail. He cares a lot about every little aspect of his movie.
Right.
I just think the story fell a bit short.
Well, and also, if you looked at it as a horror movie, what's great about him is that he knows that, like, a cheap jump scare isn't.
Yeah, I love.
Doesn't make a horror movie.
He builds horror by using the ambience of the forest.
Right, which is
the different
great.
sounds and the chanting at the end. Is great. And, like, the music, it's uneven and, like, not balanced. It's very eerie.
It feels so real until up to its end, the movie. Yeah. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it feels very grounded and, like...
Yeah.
Very, like... Like, it could have happened. Like, definitely.
Like an old folk tale.
Folk tale. It's exactly what you could imagine from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really well handled.
Yeah.
right.
So I gave it 4 out of 5. Like
I had an 8 out of 10.
So,
really solid.
And then after
Good.
that,
So Jake, what did you say was bad about that? Would give it an 8 out of 10
oh yeah,
because we kind of gave our points, but you haven't really said any conflicting.
Issues in general that I might have had with it.
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I agree with you. Like, it might have been better if there were like 10 or 15 more minutes on the runtime, so you get to be with the characters a little more.
yeah.
I don't really have any really big problems with it. I just wasn't really floored by it, so I didn't give it like that 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Out of 10. But yeah, maybe a little bit more time to flesh out the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One scene that I kind of thought was kind of stuck out to me was when Caleb comes back and he's upstairs and he starts chanting out all those prayers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the twins start doing that. I wish that was either a separate scene or just the twins were just fine.
Well, the twins. Remember, the twins had been kind of taken under by Black Phillip.
Exactly, but
he had been speaking to them and stuff.
But still, I don't know. I feel like Caleb, his acting in that should just been standalone for that while they were all praying and stuff, and the kids should have just been like. Then after that, they get taken over, and then that's when the movie becomes longer, and you could see like the hatred or the anguish actually in the mother's eyes more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
I think it was
it was just a little bit. That wasn't like a huge thing I was complaining about. That's just something
it's a nitpick.
Also, a little nitpick. Kind of the way that Caleb gets taken is through his sinful actions, quote unquote.
Yeah.
By like not fantasizing, but kind of like sexualizing his sister. From the scene where like he wakes up and he looks at her kind of and like that stuff. So he's kind of taken in that way where like she starts kissing him. But really that doesn't happen ever. I would have liked to see how like how like the children are taken or something.
Yeah.
If that made sense. Because I feel like that was just like a one and done type thing. I would have liked to see like
because
they're all. I mean, the father says that everyone's born a sinner, and that it's basically like you start from the bottom, you have to work up to get to heaven, basically.
Right.
Because they're purist. So.
Right.
I don't know. I thought the way that they portrayed his sins with his sister, especially, I thought that was great. And then how they did it through like kissing him, I thought that was all like. I thought that was perfect.
No, I thought that was great too. I just thought they should have done that for the rest of the
that again,
more?
Like, for the rest of the characters.
For Jonas and Mercy.
Because everyone in this movie is a sinner. They're all quote unquote sinning based on their beliefs. So
what did the mother do? I was a little confused by her wording. Do you guys want to like explain that?
What do you mean?
Because I get the father because he was lying and that's a sin obviously, and then the lust, and then the little kids was kind of like they were just talking to.
They were spoiled and
yeah.
That was their thing, and
but the mother had a point where she said something where she said, "I have to admit something," and I kind of got confused by her wording.
Yeah, it was kind of sometimes difficult.
She wishes that she was still in England, that she still lived there.
I know
I guess it could be like obsession.
I mean, that could also be lust in a way.
Obsession, lust, yeah.
I saw some YouTube comment.
The whole family is lustful because Thomason's like desire to live lavishly That's lust. That's lustful.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Caleb, but
yeah.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube comment that for each one of the children,
what their sin.
one of the one of the 7 deadly sins was for each of the children, because there was 7, or not each of the children, like each of the family members. Yeah, and there was like 7, one for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
I forget
that's
what
definitely like a good hidden meaning that I think that they were trying to portray, but they didn't do it as well as I thought they did.
Yeah, I might have to I'll watch it again down the road.
Yeah,
I think you brought up a good point, Eamon. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great.
Overall, it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Like I like it because you can discuss it. You know, it's not like, oh yeah, it was all right, and then you don't really talk about it. But it actually there's some deeper meaning
that you could actually like break down and like get meaning from the movie.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's a good pick on my part.
Yeah, it was a good pick.
I wonder what we're gonna.
I liked seeing it again. I definitely
seeing
seeing it for the first time. I was just kind of like, oh, it's just like a horror movie, whatever. Because I just watched it with Nathan, one of my friends. We're on the podcast, so. And I didn't really pay much attention, but I'm glad I rewatched it. It was a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was Jake's pick. Who wants? Gavin, do you want to pick next, or do you want me to?
Sure.
You want to pick next? Okay.
Yes.
So what pick do you want?
We'll figure that out.
We can talk about that after this.
Okay.
Talk about that next.
Yeah.
For next episode.
Exactly.
So stay tuned. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So we got just random discussion. Do you guys have anything that you want to share that doesn't really pertain to anything? Because I have something, but...
Go ahead.
All right. Jake, I don't know if you're going to know about this, but I know, Gavin, you will because we went to elementary school together. Or actually, you might not. So, in first grade, we watched our PE coach, whenever it was like bad weather, they would bring in the classic TV setup, with the VHS player and stuff like that. And they played these nutritional like kids like VHS tapes where it's this group of characters and they all represent like a part of the body, and they were known as the organ wise guys. And I remembered it a couple weeks ago. Just the name popped into my head, and the main reason why I think I still remember them is because of how creepy they were. So they were like these puppet guys. They were like very cheap looking. It's like it screams like 90s children garbage.
Yeah, they're really old.
And so I remember, so there's like these different characters. There's like a heart, there's a bone, there's like
there's a brain, I believe.
I think there's a brain, or like a part of the brain. Here, let's see. Oh, I looked it up. Okay. So they have their own names. They're called, the heart is Hardy Heart. The bone is Calcium Bone. The lungs are Windy. The brain is Cerebrum. The muscle is Madam Muscle. The kidneys are the Kidney Brothers. The intestine, I think, is just called Intestine. The pancreas is called Peter Pancreas.
Yeah.
The stomach is called Pepto, and the liver is named Luigi.
So what do you want to talk about?
I just want to talk about how kind of really creepy and weird they were.
I would love to see these things.
Okay. Well, how can I?
Maybe
Is there
maybe
something
if
else
we
that
get
you
this on
guys can
YouTube or
look at?
something, we could put this up on
Yeah, I'll put it up on the.
our video.
I'll put it up on the screen. But I remember. So I remember seeing some of these guys, like especially the Heart. The Heart fucking creeped me out. I'm sorry for my language, but he scared the piss out of me, and I don't know why. It's just like because I watched a clip now, and I don't really. He talks kind of feminine like, not really, but it's like a halfway. It's like between homosexual and like just a normal dude, and it sounds really weird. And that it doesn't match at all with what he looks like. His eyebrows are like just stitched on there, and his eyes don't move at all.
Wait, what's this called?
The Organ Wise guys.
The Organ Wise guys. Let me look this up.
And apparently,
You watched this in school?
yeah, on like VHS tapes.
I see
do
the
remember
Hardy
this.
Heart.
I do remember this.
And
Calcium Bone. Here they are.
you have to admit they're kind of freaky.
They are.
Luigi's
Especially,
livers is kind of weird. The Kidney Brothers is pretty fresh, not gonna lie.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah,
They
I
got
like
the
the kid.
shades.
they got the sunglasses on. But
Hardy
Madam-
Heart is a little, and Calcium and
Madam-
Bone is.
Madam Muscle's a little weird looking.
yeah, she is pretty. She's interesting.
I got
honestly,
another thing
yeah.
to talk about once we're done with this.
Okay. Well,
That just came up in my mind.
I kept researching and I stumbled upon. They have a YouTube channel with like 500 something subscribers, and it's very weird, and it's very like out there. They haven't.
So someone still does this?
I guess so, but it's just
That's
hear me out.
weird.
Hear me out. Hear me out. So, their most recent video was called Germ Killer 2020. And it's the two kidney guys, and they just show you how to wash your hands. And it's obviously a clip from like one of their older like tapes, like definitely from the early 2000s or 90s or something. But towards the end, what really kind of surprised me is that they have a copyright like imprint in the bottom corner, and it copyrights it at 2020. So they literally had someone, who knows, whoever works for like this corporation anymore. They had someone just go in, find this old clip from one of their old VHS tapes, and just slap a copyright like description on there. I just think that's,
nobody's gonna be watching this in 2020.
I just think that's weird that they would upload right now. I'm guessing it was probably for the COVID, because it's called it's about washing your hands. I don't know why this would be the time that they would decide to return, and they haven't uploaded since. And the only dislike on that video is my own. So, fun fact. And then
is this kind of like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
No, because it's not supposed to be like terrifying. It's just it's supposed to teach kids, but it's unintentionally creepy. I think honestly, the Bone is creepier. Her eyes are very, very
dude.
scary.
The bone and the lungs, dude. The lungs reminded me of something, and that's what I was gonna get onto.
I love, if you look closely, you could tell that the lungs, it's like basically a copy of the muscle, but they just slapped like these two yellow blobs on the side. Like they cut holes through them and just stuck them on the arms of the puppet, and then put like this giant noodle on top.
And I like how for calcium and bone, it's literally just like a dog bone, the way it's shaped. Like if you see a full picture of it.
Yeah. And she has like big lips and like her eyes have no pupils.
Yeah.
It looks very weird. But there was this weird, so before they uploaded in 2020, before they uploaded their washing hands video, the last time they did was 4 years ago. So, and during that time, there was a short stint. So, there were 2 videos uploaded 4 years ago, and it's literally just like those, those kind of stylized, like, healthy eating recipes where it's just like the hands and it shows you, like, all the ingredients and stuff and how to make it. They do 2 of those videos 4 years ago, and then they just stop. They just don't do anymore, and I don't know why. They just completely stop making them altogether, and then 4 years later they come out with Germ Killer 2020.
Well, this is an interesting observation.
It's just I don't know what's going on. Like, why would they?
I find it kind of funny you're kind of following the organ-wise guys. But, yeah.
No. It was like last week. I thought of the name. I looked them up, and it was at like 1 a.m. I spent like 45 minutes just looking through all this stuff and seeing there's apparently a lot of schools have done it. It's appeared on like news stations and stuff. I guess it's a big success. But then they'll just like upload random clips. There's like this whole timeline on their YouTube channel where it's like you got the Germ Killer 2020 era, you got the make your own healthy food era, then you got like this woman talking to I guess what would be like a board of like a school board, because these are definitely not intended for children. She's addressing like the different schools that she's speaking to. And, like, talks about funding. That goes on for, like, a year. And then there's, like, these random sporadic clips and, like, clips of children at schools. I just think it's weird. Also, the last thing I discovered is that their Twitter is, like, somewhat active. I don't know why.
Well, this is very interesting. You should do some deeper digging and maybe report on it.
Yeah.
I want to know who's in charge here. Also, a lot of their they have a link to their website, and a lot of the like website sections, like areas, they just lead to 404 links.
Yeah.
So a lot of them don't even work anymore.
Yes, this is probably a out of commission thing.
Which I just think
it's definitely not still going on.
I just think
it's weird.
The
Oregon Wise guy's son found the account and posted.
No, it's like,
or maybe some dude just came up and was like, "Hey, I want to get some Twitter clout. Let me just. What about this thing that I watched when I was 5? Maybe
it's just like
that and just repost old videos.
It's just like it's just like this thing. No, because this is definitely created by the company or whatever who did it. But it's just weird how like their websites were basically left dormant, and then just out of nowhere 2 weeks ago, literally, it's kind of strange. Like literally right after I think about them and look them up, the time that they upload is 1 week before I think of them. I think of it as like a ghost town where none of this exists except there's just this one guy in a dark warehouse with his computer just uploading random clips from like the 90s of this show. Even though like none of their links really work anymore, they're not really active on their social media.
The last tweet they had was March 2nd. They said, Hardy Hart and Perry Stolik are here to remind you to wash your hands. And then they sent out the YouTube link. You click on the YouTube link, and it's the wash your hands before you eat for good health.
They're
18K views, and you could definitely tell it's from 1990 something.
There's this huge, like, there's this big, like, gap. So it's like
really weird.
On their Facebook, they posted twice on their. They posted a couple times so far in March, and then like it jumps all the way to like November, and then it just keeps like getting like longer in between. Then I wonder, like, what schools still do any schools still do this?
No, all the schools have gotten rid of.
This seems like such
VHS
a dated
TV stuff.
system.
Yes, it is dated. That's why it's no longer a thing.
But it's weird that there's like
I know it is.
The website is dormant. Nothing really about this is there anymore. But for some reason, some like subsections of this company are still uploading and posting stuff.
Yeah, listen to this tweet. Some governor tweeted out obesity rates are falling for young children, study says, and then they responded on June 19th, 2019, saying, "This is great news. Helping kids tackle childhood obesity is what we are all about. A scientifically proven program that can help kids live active and healthy lifestyles. Let us know what we can do to help." That sounds like really professional. So it's definitely not someone that's like.
It seems very automated though. It seems very automated, like a very automated response. I
don't know why we're still talking about this.
I just don't know why. I just don't know why people didn't just let this thing die and why it still exists.
Yeah,
dude, they have a shop.
Huh.
You can get you can order a T-shirt. I might order a T-shirt.
You should do some deeper digging on that.
They have a size large, adult large, so that's fine. I can order one.
Go ahead. Yep.
It's
support
actually
the Oregon Wise Guys.
It's $15.95. I'm not paying for that. I'm not.
Okay, so let me get into something else.
It's weird.
I don't know if we still talk about the Wise Guys.
All right, I'm sorry.
But no, it's fine. It was interesting. It was interesting. But so you guys, of course, if you don't know, this is weird, but you guys, of course, seen the movie Coraline, right? When you were a kid.
Yeah.
So that got the lungs got me kind of reminding with their eyes. When I first saw Coraline, my parents made me watch it, right? I saw it in theaters, I think. Might have been at home. Anyways, when I saw it, it was the scariest movie I've ever seen when I was little. Like, I was scared out of my mind. Like, yeah. I didn't know what, I was like, when she went through that tunnel and everyone changed button eyes, I had nightmares about that for like 2 years when I was like 6 and 7. So, like, I was wondering if, I've never seen the movie since then, so.
Yeah, I've seen it one time, a very long time ago.
I've seen it twice. I saw it when it came out. I lived in LA at that time, and me, my dad, and my sister went to go see it. And I don't really remember liking it really. I was just kind of confused the whole time.
That is not a kids movie, dude. That is not a kids movie.
But then I saw it. I'd like to say in 2014, 2015. I saw it. I watched most of it. It's a very well crafted movie. It looks very nice.
Yeah, definitely.
But the animation is great. The story is interesting, based on like this whole world that's just kind of oblivious to.
Yeah, it's really good.
This girl.
It's original.
I'd say I would say to watch it. I would say to watch it. I think that would be good.
I need to see it. I need to see it again.
Yeah,
Gavin, maybe we should revisit it and talk about it.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if that was your guys' reaction, but when I first saw it, I was like, nope.
Yeah, no. It's creepy.
Yeah, I know.
It is. Like, seeing that, like, when you're 6 or 7, like, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the woman who leads the, like, weird place, she's creepy.
Yeah, dude.
And then when Coraline gets her mouth sewed shut.
Oh, yeah, that creeps me out, dude.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Dude, you know what that reminds me of? That's kind of opposite. What's that one movie that came out, like, last year with the all-black lead? Or the all-black cast, I mean. Kind of thriller horror movie.
Us?
Yes, Us.
It wasn't all black, but...
Well, I mean... Like the main characters.
Okay,
that's what I mean. But I think that's kind of similar because it's like opposites of each other because she has her real mother and her real father and it goes into the...
Difference is Coraline's actually pretty good and Us is...
I didn't really think Us was that great.
I think it was a little overhyped. I think it was still good. There's nothing bad about it.
Jordan Peele kind of flubbed. He tried to make it. He tried to make it too deep.
Yeah, same. Like that was my issue with it. Like it was more. It was trying hard to be something like it just wasn't as deep as I think he thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Out was a lot better in my opinion.
Yeah, I liked Get Out a lot more.
Get Out was really cool.
Get Out was a really good movie.
I was kind of looking at something while you guys were talking. This is kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of a weird question. Was there ever like an advertisement or something that you guys ever like, that you can still vividly remember?
Like an ad?
Yeah, like a commercial or like an ad on like...
Well, there's a movie and an ad that I always think about.
What is
every
it?
day. So, I forget, it's something Almighty, but it has Steve Carell in it, and he plays
Bruce
Moses.
Almighty?
Bruce Almighty? I think about that movie like,
is it Bruce
like
Almighty?
3 times a week.
Why?
No, Evan Almighty is with, what's his name?
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, yeah. But I don't know why I think about it. I literally have dreams about it, and I don't know. I saw it when I was like 6.
Wait.
And I think about it all the time.
Which one are you talking about? Bruce Almighty?
Yes, Bruce.
With Jim Carrey?
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Okay.
No, wait, no. No, it's Evan Almighty.
With Steve Carell.
With Steve Carell, yes.
What is Evan? I've never heard of that.
It's a sequel. It was like apparently really terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
Evan Almighty. 2007.
It came out in like 2006.
2007.
2007.
Yeah. Tom Shadyac. There was
a sequel to Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
But I don't usually remember a lot of things like before I was like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that movie when I was really little, and for some reason I remember like the whole movie, and I've never seen it after that.
But why do you think about it 3 times a week?
I don't know. It just randomly pops inside my head.
Is there like weird? A memorable scene?
No, there's no thing about that I like. I don't even like the movie. It just pops into my head like every once in a while. It's just like, yo, just letting you remind you that this movie is just out there. And then I always think about that Danimals Crushable with Dylan and Cole Sprouse where they crush it, you know?
Yeah,
I always think about that.
That's a good ad.
Yeah, what about you, Eamon?
Nickelodeon Cartoon Network ads. Those are always fun to watch.
What about you, Eamon? Were you going to bring up a point?
Did we lose him?
Oh, I got it. Sorry. Okay.
Weren't you going to bring up a point about some advertisement or something?
Yeah, so there was always this one, and I never really went to McDonald's like a lot, but there was always this one like ad on the building, and it was like this old, like, I think it was like for the McFlurry. It was like an old McFlurry poster, like on the side of the building, and they just had it up there for years, and I guess they didn't take it down until, I don't know, because I haven't been back in the one in North Carolina since, but I just remember like it looked really weird, and like the colors were like very like they popped out a lot, and it just like
on the side of the building,
yeah, like by the drive-thru.
Oh my gosh. I remember that.
You do?
Mm-hmm. And it has, like, in the advertisement, it has, like, little holes in it.
Yeah.
It's like almost like it's see-through or, like, a screen.
Yeah.
But it has, like, colors on it. I remember that, yeah.
I think there were, like, M&Ms in it, I think. Right? Like, in the...
Yeah, it was like a McFlurry. Yeah.
With I think it was... And then... I just remember like it was kind of faded because it was definitely older, but it also popped out though. It looked. I'm gonna look for that.
Were you talking about advertisement, like television advertisement, or like
just anything you see,
billboard?
like a billboard, advertisement, anything. Really.
Yeah, they're supposed to stick with you.
For like an ad, I'd probably have to go with like the Apple Jacks commercials with the Jamaican cinnamon stick.
Yep.
Applejack cereal.
Yep.
And also
the tall guy,
that
the tall skinny guy, and then the apple.
Yeah, that and then I
the
guess the company for those cereals decided that it was a good idea to make cereal into like a straw.
What?
Oh, I remember that.
It was like 2000. It was like 2008, and I remember seeing commercials.
Straws?
It was like Applejack straws, and then they had Fruit Loop straws. I remember.
And then you could like eat them after you're done or whatever.
They had like Cocoa Puff straws too. It was weird.
Yeah.
You guys remember that commercial was like, "You need taste so creamy with a crunch." They were like wrapping Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, the Reese's Puffs.
Reese's
They were the
Puffs,
Reese's Puffs. Reese's Puffs.
I remember it was like a Cocoa Puffs commercial with the bird or whatever that's on there.
Yeah.
And he's like in court, and then he like it. I don't know like the middle of the commercial. I know it starts with him in court, like pleading for Cocoa Puffs or something, and then I remember the end of the commercial ends with him parachuting with a box of Cocoa Puffs.
With Cocoa Puffs.
I don't know I don't know the middle of that, though.
I'm kooky for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, he always freaked out. He freaked me out.
Do you guys remember the goldfish commercials? They would leave them on for like 4 weeks, and then they would have like part 2 or whatever, and it's like the.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like just these animated goldfish in a house.
Yeah, and then you watch the same commercial for the first 4 weeks, and then you see the next one, and it always comes on.
Yeah.
I wonder if they still do that. They have like seasons of that. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, we should have an episode where we just talk about like childhood stuff. That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah, like childhood stories. What?
So we about to close this then? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, let's.
I mean, if you guys want.
I think we've had a good episode.
I think we've talked.
This is a good first episode.
We've talked a lot. We've had a good amount of laughs.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
We shared our opinions.
Fun times. Opinions have been shared. I guess we could make that episode too then. So.
All right.
Thank you all for tuning in to the very first episode. We are the Average Cast. Thanks once again for joining us. Thank you all.
Hope you enjoyed.
Right.
And
thanks for watching, guys.